When Aryna Sabalenka told her coach, "Oh, no," after he suggested reviewing her Australian Open final loss, nobody expected that moment would capture exactly how upside-down tennis had become. Because on that same January 31st, Alex Eala's pre-tournament press conference had pulled 171,000 views on YouTube, while Sabalenka, the two-time champion and world number 1, managed just 8,000. The power structure of women's tennis didn't just shift in Melbourne.
I saw the other day with Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest. So things like that happen. I mean, you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule, and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's so young and she's just coming through. So and obviously the first couple rounds, the schedule is so packed. The big courts with big names, it's difficult. It's not easy to manage that. But again, it's a good problem to have, to be honest.
This was definitely one of the bigger Filipino turnouts. Also, New York was huge. It was tough because it also depends what court you're on. That you feel the noise and things. I would say the top two so far have been Melbourne and New York.
It exploded. This is how a 20-year-old Filipina ranked number 49 created crowd congestion so severe that people couldn't move through Victoria Park, while the world number 1 reached her 4th straight Australian Open final and still ended the tournament in what she called a hysterical moment of laughing and crying in front of the world's media. The 2026 Australian Open hit a single-day attendance record of 101,696 spectators on January 19th, but the number everyone actually remembers is 58,935, the size of Melbourne's Filipino community that descended on Court 6 to watch Alexandra Eala's main draw debut. Eala wasn't supposed to be the story that day. Tournament organizers placed her on Court 6, the so-called party court, in what observers called an unforced error.
It's an incredible match, and I tried my very best. I was fighting till the very last point. I had my opportunities. Feels like I missed a couple, but it's tennis, Today you're a loser, tomorrow you're a winner, so hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser, so hoping right now and praying.
Former Deputy Tournament Director Peter Johnston pointed out that similar queues over 100 meters long had already formed during Eala's Hong Kong appearances in late 2025. Chair umpire Yulia Ignatchenko issued multiple warnings for crowd noise during points. The atmosphere was so intense that Eala's opponent, Alicia Parks, later said the environment was unlike anything the tour typically experiences outside major stadiums. Eala secured a 6-0 bagel in the opening set by capitalizing on Park's errors, but ultimately lost 0-6, 6-3, 6-2, as her unforced errors piled up in the final 2 sets. The match stretched nearly 3 hours. When it ended, Eala spent 10 to 15 minutes signing autographs for a crowd that refused to leave. While Eala was causing logistical chaos at Court 6, Sabalenka was systematically dismantling her draw without dropping a single set. She reached the championship match alongside Elena Rybakina, who also hadn't lost a set. Their final became a masterclass in marginal differences. The match statistics reveal surreal symmetry. Sabalenka won 92 total points. Rybakina won 92 total points. Identical, but the scoreline read 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 in Rybakina's favor after Sabalenka led 3-0 in the deciding set and collapsed, winning just one of the final 7 games. The aftermath became the viral moment. Sabalenka described experiencing a hysterical moment of both laughing and crying. She admitted, I was really upset with myself because once again, I had opportunities. I couldn't resist that aggression that Elena had on court today. This transparency explains why YouTube narratives describe Sabalenka as going nuts. But within the professional context, the emotional release was a manifestation of intense pressure defending world number one status against younger players, increasingly testing established champions. When Dubrov suggested a match debrief on the day of the loss, Sabalenka jokingly responded, "Oh, no." Media framed the exchange as cheeky, but the subtext was clear. Emotional volatility functions as part of Sabalenka's competitive process. That's when things shifted. The controversy around Sabalenka wasn't limited to the final. During her January 29th semifinal against Elena Svitolina, chair umpire Louise Azamar Engzel issued a hindrance call against Sabalenka for an extended grunt during the first set. The umpire specified that the noise, described phonetically as "ooh-aya," wasn't Sabalenka's normal sound, and therefore constituted a distraction to Svitolina. Sabalenka contested the call, triggering a video review that upheld the umpire's decision. Post-match, Sabalenka expressed unfiltered frustration. "She really pissed me off. If she ever wants to do it again, like, I want to make sure that she's not afraid of it, go ahead, call it. It's going to help me." The Svitolina match also featured a pre-planned absence of a post-match handshake due to the ongoing conflict involving Russia and Belarus. Ukrainian players like Svitolina consistently refuse handshakes with opponents from those nations. To prevent crowd jeering, which had occurred when Mira Andreeva and Svitolina played, Australian Open organizers issued a formal announcement before the semi-final. The announcer at Rod Laver Arena stated, "At the end of the match, there will be no handshake between the players. We appreciate your respect." Sabalenka maintained a diplomatic public stance, expressing respect for Svitolina as a player while acknowledging the political necessity of the decision. But the cumulative effect of the hindrance drama, the no-handshake protocol, and the final collapse painted a picture of a champion under siege, not just from opponents, but from the entire ecosystem of modern tennis visibility. Now contrast Sabalenka's pressure-filled fortnight with Alex Eala's origin story. The fervor surrounding Eala in 2026 stems from her transformative 2025 Miami Open run. As a 19-year-old wildcard ranked number 140, Eala became the first Filipina to reach the semifinals of a WTA 1000 tournament. Her path involved defeating 3 Grand Slam champions in succession: Jelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, the reigning Australian Open champion at the time, and then world number 2 Iga Świątek. In her quarterfinal victory over Świątek, Eala fired 10 winners in the opening set alone and capitalized on 19 unforced errors from the Polish star to secure a 6-2, 7-5 victory. Though Eala ultimately fell to Jessica Pegula in a 2-hour, 26-minute semifinal battle, she earned $332,160 in prize money and saw her ranking catapult to number 75. That Miami performance established Eala Nation as a formidable global fan base and set the stage for the Melbourne Park congestion that would come 9 months later. The claim that Alex Eala officially surpassed Aryna Sabalenka in Australian fan base isn't hyperbole. It's supported by hard digital metrics. On the same day Sabalenka conducted her pre-tournament press conference as the 2-time defending champion, Eala's press briefing drew 171,000 views on the Australian Open's official YouTube channel compared to Sabalenka's 8,000 views. Post-match live streams of his interviews surpassed 100,000 views, eclipsing the engagement levels of established superstars like Carlos Alcaraz. As of February 2026, Eala has amassed nearly 850,000 Instagram followers. Sabalenka maintains a larger absolute following, between 3.9 and 5 million across Instagram and TikTok, but the concentrated nature of Eala's fan base in the Philippines, the 14th most populous country globally, creates what analysts describe as higher marketable intensity. Novak Djokovic described Eala's drawing power as a good problem and a historic moment, emphasizing the importance of diverse national representation in tennis. Martina Navratilova echoed this sentiment, calling for organizers to keep more in mind where the players are from and what the actual fan base is when making tournament schedules. The subtext of both statements is undeniable. Traditional tennis infrastructure is built around European and North American markets, and the sport is now being forced to reckon with demographic shifts from non-traditional regions. Eala's social media engagement score in January 2026 reached 428,259, a metric quantifying likes, shares, comments, and video completions, demonstrating a shifting power dynamic where cultural resonance can eclipse institutional success. But here's what actually breaks the system. Aryna Sabalenka's 2026 year-to-date statistics, as of mid-February, show a 13-1 win-loss record with 86.2% of service games won, 48 aces, and only 17 double faults. Alex Eala's 2026 statistics show a 3-2 win-loss record with 63.4% of service games won, 7 aces, and 29 double faults. On paper, Sabalenka operates at an elite tier that Eala can't yet match. Sabalenka has accumulated $46.7 million in career prize money. Sabalenka stands 1.82 meters tall with a serve that anchors her dominance. Eala is 1.75 meters tall and still refining her power game. Yet when the 2026 Australian Open ended, the player everyone was talking about wasn't the one who reached the final for the fourth consecutive year. It was the one who lost in the first round, but commanded the attention of 101,696 spectators, caused logistical gridlock, and generated YouTube viewership that dwarfed the world number one. The revelation came during Sabalenka's final meltdown. Leading 3-0 in the deciding set against Rybakina, Sabalenka proceeded to win only one of the next 7 games. The match ended 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. Total points, 92-92. Sabalenka's emotional volatility isn't new. During the WTA finals against Jessica Pegula, Anton Dubrovsky actually left the court after a fiery exchange in the third set, and Sabalenka later admitted she had gone too far, but argued the resulting stress helped her produce better tennis. The pattern is clear. Sabalenka uses emotional release as a functional competitive tool. But what happens when that tool stops working? What happens when a player wins 92 points, loses 92 points, and still walks away with nothing while a player ranked number 40 commands exponentially higher fan engagement despite losing in straight sets? The 2026 Australian Open wasn't just won by Elena Rybakina. It was the coronation of Alex Eala as a global icon of the sport, whether the WTA rankings acknowledge it or not. Sabalenka continues delivering elite-level competitive consistency, but the protagonist of the current era is increasingly defined not by trophy count, but by the ability to capture the world's imagination. The hierarchy of tennis has fractured into 2 parallel systems, one measured by service percentages and Grand Slam finals, the other measured by YouTube views and social media engagement scores. And the uncomfortable truth is that the second system is starting to matter more than the first. The question tennis can't answer yet: can world number 1 status survive when a player 39 ranking spots below you commands the attention of an entire continent?